After a brief holiday break, second-ranked UConn is back on the court in Hartford. The Huskies have won 7 in a row with Breanna Stewart, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, and Morgan Tuck leading the way. Today, it's the American opener against SMU on SNY. From the XL Center in downtown Hartford, we welcome you to UConn women's basketball, the start of conference play for the Huskies as they welcome in the SMU Mustangs. And it is great to have you with us here courtside at the XL Center alongside Megan Colmo. I am Eric Freed. One thing we've learned about this UConn team this year is they continue to come together and continue to evolve. There's a role for everybody, and that includes 2 very talented freshmen who have come a long way in a short period of time, led by Kia Nurse.
Well, Kia Nurse got into that starting lineup several games ago, and she is not going to give it up. This young lady has already earned the trust of her teammates, which as a freshman is really hard to do. What I love about this kid, she said recently that she absolutely loves everything about UConn. It was way more than she expected, and she plays with such an energy and a confidence. You can tell the kid is comfortable in her own skin, and it certainly shows on the floor. She's
shooting very well, shooting even higher percentage is Gabby Williams, her classmate, at 68% from the field so far. And she has the added twist of going from being a guard who did everything in high school to being a forward now here in Division I.
Right, and it's much harder to play as a forward in the post in college as opposed to high school. Well, think about, it's a brand new position for you. Well, you can tell she is a world-class track high jumper and athlete. The way she elevates, her ability to get to the basket, that's complete instincts. I'd love to give Chris Daly credit for coaching all of this, but you can tell so much of this is just God-given athletic ability. And could you imagine how good she's going to be when she figures out what she's doing? Look out.
She's getting better game by game. Now it's in the conference play for UConn as they take on SMU. And let's remind you of who's coming and who's gone in the American. It's brought to you by GMC. East Carolina, Tulane, and Tulsa coming into the conference. Louisville and Rutgers have moved on. So it's another year of transition. And we know that UConn went 18-0 in conference play last year. We know it is not the hardest part of their schedule. And there's really not much they can do about it except go out and play their best.
Well, and that's where it's a mental test these next 2 months. Yeah, you know, they can't control what conference they're in. Their out-of-conference schedule is incredibly difficult, and that's where they're going to build up so much mental toughness. But now for the next 18 games or so, they have got to just go out, don't worry about who they're playing, play Connecticut basketball, and they could end up 18-0 again.
Taking on SMU today, we're ready to get back to work. We enjoyed probably 1 or 2 cookies too many. We hope you did as well for the holiday. We're loose, ready to go, and we're back to work. The Huskies, their 4th straight different venue for a home game. So let's settle in. SMU and UConn, the lineup at opening tip next. You whiffed at Christmas time, and you need that last-minute gift idea. I got just the thing for you. Single game tickets for the defending national champion UConn women and men's basketball teams are on sale. Go to UConnTickets.com to get in on all the action. You haven't put your stockings away yet, so stuff it in there. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by Subaru. Kiara Perry for SMU is the lone returning starter from last year. Alicia Froling is a freshman from Australia. We'll see her twin, Keeley, come off the bench. And for UConn, same lineup for the 7th consecutive game. Jefferson, Nurse, Mosqueda-Lewis, Stewart, and Tuck. Gino Auriemma, the UConn head coach. Now you have to take it out to the 10th, 100th, 1,000th, 10,000th, 100,000th. But with a win here today, he would pass Leon Barmore for #1 on the all-time list when it comes to winning percentage. Rhonda Rampolla is in her 24th season as SMU's head coach. She's an SMU alum. Her team comes in with a 4-7 record. Lost to Auburn in New York City at the St. John's Invitational last time out, 56-43. A very young team for Rhonda Rampolla, the youngest in the American. We're going to be seeing a lot of freshmen out on the court here today. Denise Brooks, Brian Enterline, Brian Hall, our officiating crew. We are ready here at the XL Center. The traveling road show for UConn has taken them from Gamble to Bridgeport to Uncasville and now here to Hartford for a home game.
Their 4th home court.
Selena Mosqueda-Lewis didn't drop down, but look at Morgan Tuck fight for the offensive rebound. Real good crowd filling in here on a Saturday afternoon in downtown Hartford, making some noise here in the opening seconds.
It is loud in here, isn't it?
The skip over to Nurse. Back out to Stewart for 2.
I think the crowd was just so tired of being in their homes eating. They were glad to stand and cheer and get some exercise.
And for some, that's the most exercise in a few days, yeah. I'll just speak for myself on that one.
You and me both.
Here's Alicia Froling off to Gabrielle Wilkins. The feed to Destiny Hives McCray. She did not play against UConn last year. Wilkins picks it up, and there's the block shot by Brianna Stewart.
There's that 7-foot wingspan.
Nurse sees an opening and finishes.
Great recognition that time by Nurse. Nobody stopped the ball in the lane. That's a great example of how you have to drive to score. You don't want to drive to pass. Be a threat to score.
Morgan Bolton runs the point for SMU, the sophomore from Duncanville, Texas, a transfer from Arkansas Little Rock, so she's in her first year with this SMU program. Froling from Australia, blocked again by Stewart.
She tried to step through there, did Froling. A nice European move. Again, those long arms of Stewart.
Tuck inside, spins in for 2. 6-0, Connecticut out of the blocks. Jefferson defensively on Wilkins. Knocked away by Stewart. Good defense so far for UConn. And Mariah Jefferson splits defenders, finishes, and the foul.
Wow, she got knocked down pretty hard, slid almost underneath the press table. Look at that, great active hands and pretty good footwork that you couldn't see. She got bumped, but how about the focus by Mo Jeff?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the focus for the photographers on the baseline.
Yeah.
Stood their ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mariah's pretty good too. Well, great balance here so far for UConn. 4 different scores. 9-0 UConn. A very strong start for the Huskies as they get into conference play. Remember the last time we were with you at Webster Bank Arena against DePaul. DePaul came out, made their first 6 field goals. Felt good. UConn a little cold to start, but all UConn right out of the blocks here. Froling, first points for SMU. Be interesting to watch that freshman develop from Queensland, Australia at 6'3". She's their leading scorer at 11 points a game. Jefferson for 3.
Boy, if Jefferson can knock down the threes consistently, how it will just expand this offense.
Mariah now 9 of 27 from outside the 3-point line. That's thrown out of bounds, and it'll be UConn ball. Substitutions for SMU. They will bring Taylor Brame, a freshman from Chicago, into the game. Also, Keely Froling, Alicia's twin, freshman, onto the floor for the first time. Jefferson brings it across for UConn. Huskies 8-1 on the season. Mosqueda-Lewis to Tuck.
What a take by Tuck. Great focus in there, knowing that her defender could not guard her one-on-one.
Only one miss so far, Meg, for UConn. It was the Mosqueda-Lewis 3 that was partway down. After that, it's been nothing but makes for UConn. Keely Froling used the screen but couldn't finish. Feed inside to Stewart, who's fouled on the way up, and she'll shoot a couple of free throws. Brianna Stewart's been the leading scorer for this UConn team in the last 2 games. Against UCLA at Mohegan Sun, went for 22 points, had 5 rebounds, 5 blocks, as Gino Auriemma has watched her continue to fill up the stat sheet, not just with scoring, but we've seen it today with the block shots and on the glass as well. She misses the first free throw. She's been outstanding from the free throw line. After that miss, now 22 of her last 25. You see the shooting so far in this game. UConn 1 miss, SMU 1 make. Jefferson went for the steal. Bolton turned it over. And that'll get us to a timeout. It comes with 15:52 to go in the first half, and a great start. Outside and in for UConn. Jefferson for 3. Tuck on the inside for 2. And the Huskies have jumped out to a 13-point lead. Welcome back to the third meeting all time between SMU and UConn. 15-2, great start for the Huskies here, and you'll see a little bit of detail on how they've gotten going here in Como's court vision. Take it away, Meg.
Well, we talked about Kia Nurse off the top and how her teammates have earned her trust. Look at her number 11 coming through. She screams there for Morgan Tuck to get her man, and now they switch, right? Now they go back. Nurse does a great job of communicating again to switch back. Everything defensively is you have to communicate. Really good job by the freshman. And then it also helps to have number 30 back there swatting shots away. But to have this freshman so vocal, so confident, that's why they trust her so much.
UConn with their original starting 5 on the floor out of the timeout as it's knocked out of play. Michaela Reese, freshman from Colorado Springs, has come in for SMU as Rhonda Rampolla keeps trying to get personnel in and out. Mariah Jefferson finding the range. I think she's missed shooting at the XL.
I think so, or maybe Santa put something in her stocking.
9 points for Jefferson, including 2 3-pointers. And a turnover. Nurse leading the charge. Jefferson with the finish. She's in the double figures already with 11.
And the nice dish from Nurse. Bad communication there.
Well, you know the twins can communicate, right?
Yeah, non-verbally, but there. The senior and the junior could have used a freshman influence.
Mosqueda-Lewis buries a 3. First points for Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, averaging 15.5 a game. Feed down low, knocked away, picked up by Stewart.
Nice pass.
And the finish by Tuck. Timeout called by SMU. UConn surgical so far in this game on both ends of the floor. Coming up with the stops defensively, and then pick your poison on offense.
And 2 blue jerseys running at her. But she's just such money from long range. And here, the threading the needle, Kia Nurse to Morgan Tuck, who Tuck has done such a great job, Eric, running the floor.
I don't know, if you're Gino Auriemma, can you find anything to complain about here so far in the first 5 minutes plus?
It would be hard. He might be able to find it, but I think, especially coming off of the Christmas break where they had a couple days home. Now, they had to come back on Christmas Day.
Had to practice that evening.
They did. But usually this game can be, you know, kind of getting your bearings again. But I think he's got to be thrilled with the way his team is playing thus far.
Pressure in the backcourt out of the timeout called by SMU. Kayla Reese, and it's a 10 count.
Now, we talked about SMU being the youngest team in the conference, and that's a very, that's a young mistake. And Rampolla's going to have, they're going to take their lumps this year because of that inexperience.
Ten for their last 10 from the field for UConn. Jefferson, Nurse uses the Stewart screen. Nice little hesitation.
Got a little too crazy.
Tried to force it inside, and now Bolton in transition. SMU can't finish the break. Ripped down by Tuck. Up to Jefferson. And blocked. Froling and Short teaming up to knock it out of play.
Well, there you got to realize that was good weak side help from Raven Short. Only 5'11", but she came over to swat it away.
First substitutions for UConn as Kia Nurse and Morgan Tuck go to the bench. Kia Stokes and Sanaya Chong into the game.
Oh, so you got to get the ball in there.
Stewart brings it back out. 10 on the shot clock for UConn. On top 25-4, make it 28-4 off the bench. And everyone is hot right now for UConn. Sanaya Chong knocks it down.
It's important for Sanaya Chong to knock down a shot. Offensively, she's been in a little bit of a funk.
Tipped. Knocked back into the hands of Short. No reset on the shot clock, down to 8. And then Jefferson comes up with a steal. Dribbling through traffic. Feeds it up to Chong, who's in trouble, but finds Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. The return from Mariah Jefferson, and UConn is just going to town on SMU right now.
It seems like, I don't even know what their uniforms are. They're not white, they're like a gray. It seems like there's 8 gray jerseys to 5 blue.
Both ends of the court right now, there is no sign at all of a team coming back off of Christmas break as we take a look at the teamwork replay breakdown presented by UConn Health.
I mean, just everywhere. Offensive rebound there, the finish by Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Look at that, almost a one-handed rebound while her other hand was being held.
Last touch by SMU, it's UConn basketball. You can see who's on the floor right now for UConn. Sanaya Chong. Mosqueda-Lewis.
Nice screen by Stokes.
Most times, Mosqueda-Lewis will make that, especially when you take a look at her numbers this year at 55%. Stewart fighting on the glass, but she tiptoed out of bounds.
Stewart's everywhere as well.
That's the one thing you've noticed right from the tip, especially you saw the block shots. She's been good on the defensive glass, but you see the scoreboard, 30-4. But you see a lot of hustle plays today as well from this UConn team.
And they're such a better team. I think they're learning this. The more they hustle, as they force the walk call, but it's all about the process. You're not going to get to that 30-point win if you don't do the little things, and that's what this UConn team is learning early in this season.
Mariah Jefferson sits down. Mariah 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 11 points to lead UConn in scoring as Kia Nurse comes back into the game. That was turnover number 9 for SMU. 2 turnovers so far from UConn. Tough to find much fault in UConn's game so far here at the XL. Nurse for 3. They've gone a little bit cold here over the last couple of minutes. Bolton knocks down a three-pointer. 10th three-pointer she's made this year, averaging 4.5 points a game. Sanaya Chong. Dribbled off the foot, picked up by Stokes, handed off to Mosqueda-Lewis, and here comes UConn across half court on top 30-7 in the American opener against SMU.
Good ballman side to side.
Traveling violation called on Chong. That will get us to our 12-minute media time. That comes with 11:01 to go in the first half. The Huskies on top by 23. XL Center, downtown Hartford, first half with UConn in control. Let's check in with the third member of our team, Kerith Burke, whose report is brought to you by Chevrolet. Hello, Kerith.
Hi, Eric. Really hot start for Mariah Jefferson. She already has 11 points in this game. That 11 points matches her total over the 3 previous games. I talked with assistant coach Shay Ralph about Mariah's game lately, and Ralph told me, you know, they don't always need Jefferson to score, but they definitely need her to be a playmaker. Jefferson has been taking on more responsibility, mentoring the other guards, especially Kia Nurse, the same way Bria Hartley mentored her. Now, Ralph told me the coaches are really pleased with Jefferson's work ethic. She's a natural leader. They just want her to be a more vocal leader. Jefferson came into this game as UConn's leader in assists, turnovers, and steals, so her mission for the new year will be limiting turnovers while dishing out more helpers. Eric?
Well, we've seen that so far with Mariah. She's been doing it with the scoring, but also with sharing the basketball. Good finish inside by Keely Froling for her first 2 points as UConn came out in zone out of that timeout.
Well, and you can see they gave up the offensive rebound, which they have not done earlier, and that's because it's harder to box out of a zone.
Nurse, Chong, Tuck, Mosqueda Lewis, Stokes, the 5 on the floor right now for UConn. UConn won for its last 6 from the field before that field goal attempt for Morgan Tuck, who is a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor so far today. 6 points for Tuck. Just finishing up Kara's point, including today's game, Mariah Jefferson with 12 assists and 2 turnovers in the last 3 games. That, at the end of the day, is how you really determine what kind of difference maker she is. And there's a foul on SMU. The block shot by Stokes. The tripping foul called on Hives McRae.
I was going to say that was a block in and of itself. A nice block, and then just an inadvertent knee-to-knee collision.
No, it's borderline hip check there. We all know.
What is this, a hockey game?
Well, you know, Kia's brother, Darnell, is an outstanding hockey player playing for Team Canada at the World Juniors. Big deal up in Canada. So she knows how to land after taking a hip check like that on the ice, I bet.
She's taken a bunch of those, I think, in the driveway as well.
Yeah. Here's Gabby Williams into the game for the first time.
Tuck thought about it.
Williams trying to post up inside. Here's Sanaya Chong. Tuck. First miss today for her. Rebound pulled down by SMU. Kieran Perry comes away.
Nice box out by Perry in the lane.
Steal by Gabby Williams. Great anticipation to take it away. Finds Nurse, who has her shot blocked. Good tough defensive play by Kiera Perry to deny the basket.
Yeah, that was
Kia
a
Nurse.
Sick block by Perry. Tremendous anticipation here by the freshman Williams, and then explosive how Nurse got up the floor, but how about the athleticism on the defensive end by Perry?
Stephanie Collins, another freshman from Australia, into the game for the first time. Can't miss her. She's in the middle. 6'5" from Melbourne. Just the 3rd game she's played.
Oh, she just double dribbled and the refs were running. Got away with one there, Sanaya Chong, and not a good poker player. Her face said it all.
Nurse. Chong for 3. Oh, 3-point shot's gone away from UConn after a great start. Matter of fact, shooting-wise for UConn, they're now 1 for their last 8 from the field.
How about the way Gabby Williams goes after the offensive boards? 15, you see her. I mean, she is just relentless. And she's trying to say it was off blue leg. Nice try.
Brianna Stewart back into the game. Mariah Jefferson on the floor as well. Chong and Stokes go to the bench as it's thrown out of bounds, and UConn will take over. Turnover number 12 for SMU, and we still have 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the first half.
You know, with a young team, you're going to have turnovers, but we've seen this UConn defense just terrorize folks with the way they can turn you over.
Stewart trying to get it to Williams. Pass for Tuck to handle. That's a turnover for UConn.
It wasn't good spacing. Stewart was too close to Tuck.
4th turnover for the Huskies. Perry. Keely Froling. Finds Alicia Froling, who lost the handle. And it was knocked out of bounds by UConn. SMU basketball with 12 to shoot. When we come back to the XL Center, the Huskies, winners of 7 straight, up big in the first half. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Ford. For great deals on Ford cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers, visit tristateford.com. By Town Fair Tire. Town Fair Tire supports UConn basketball. Go Huskies. And by Toyota. Let's go places. After a red-hot start for Brianna Stewart and the UConn Huskies, they were 11 of 13 from the field out of the opening tip. They've cooled off just a bit on a warm day here in Hartford, but still lead comfortably over SMU 32-9, 7:41 to go here in the first half.
Well, certainly the aggressive, efficient way UConn started the game as they pick it off yet again.
4-on-1, and Jefferson will get to the free throw line. Stephanie Collins picks up the personal foul.
You know, sometimes the danger in playing a young team like SMU is if they come out and they feel like they got a shot, they can elevate their game a notch or two. Well, the way the Huskies came out this afternoon, SMU knew from the get-go that they are playing a behemoth.
As Jefferson takes the second free throw, let's check back in with Kareth.
Eric, I listened into that last timeout for what Gino was telling the team. He was scolding them, actually. He said, don't look at the scoreboard, guys. He knows this is getting out of hand, but he said, you guys went from playing great to playing crummy in the last 3 or 4 minutes. He said, you better play with the effort that I expect, or he's going to start substituting other players in. Guys.
And you can see the numbers. They were great in those first 10 minutes, 9 minutes maybe, and then missed a few shots, turned the ball over a couple times.
And, you know, that's what's made this program the 9-time national champions that they are. And he, a Hall of Famer, is that he never settles for less than their best.
Gabby Williams will go to the free throw line. Feed from Jefferson. Williams fouled, and she'll head to the line to shoot a couple. The American Freshman of the Week is 8 of 20 from the free throw line this season as Morgan Bolton comes in and Keely Froling sits down. And you look at the numbers, 12 points, 7 rebounds in 16 minutes against UCLA. Rebound for Nurse, who comes in and grabs it, and UConn will set things up. Tuck. Blocking foul.
Terrific recognition by Tuck to take that ball to the hole.
And I think that's what we've seen the last couple of trips here too, Meg, attacking the basket. You saw the Jefferson pass to Williams, Tuck attacking the basket. That's what Gino's probably looking for here. Run your plays and get to the free throw line if that's what it takes, but continue to be in that aggressive mode.
And this team is so much better. We've seen it, Eric. They're so much better when they're aggressive, driving to the basket.
Michaela Reese into the game as Tuck makes a couple of free throws. She has 8. Mariah Jefferson has 13. And thrown away. More good defense by UConn, just smothering this young SMU team, forcing them into another turnover. That's 15 now for SMU.
Yeah, SMU averages 22 a game on the season. Huskies make good teams turn it over.
Gabby Williams fought back to make sure it wasn't a turnover for UConn. Nurse to Tuck. Got it back. Williams on the offensive glass. That's where she's really fun to watch when she starts getting on the glass. Turnover, Jefferson.
Jefferson, that's kind of that play right there by Mariah Jefferson is a good indicator of where she is mentally right now. Just a little bit too fast, a little bit indecisive. Sometimes she'll make a great play and then she'll turn it over. And again, you got to give credit to what Bria Hartley did last year. And Mariah's got to learn a new role. That's going to take a little bit of time.
Morgan Tuck to the bench. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis back in for UConn. Scramble for the basketball, won by Jefferson.
Yeah, tremendous hustle by Jefferson.
Up ahead to Mosqueda-Lewis. Stewart on the post up. Batted back out by Brianna. Just the second shot she's attempted. Now make it 3. Stewart will go to the line. Mosqueda Lewis, I beg your pardon, will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
This team looks so well-rounded at this point in the season. Everyone getting involved on the offensive end, not relying on just one player, Eric.
10 for Tuck, 13 for Jefferson. Nurse has scored, Chong has scored, Mosqueda Lewis has scored, Stewart has scored. Coming up on Wednesday, find out what Gino feels about this year's team and the team identity. It's on the Gino Auriemma Show, Wednesday at 5 p.m. and only on SNY. I think those words we've used since November, identity, leadership, those are the kind of things we're still finding out as we go along.
I think they've become a little clearer. They're still far from complete, but they're a better team today than they were after that Stanford loss.
Short. Lost the handle. UConn ball. Jefferson, Williams, Mosqueda Lewis, Nurse, and Stewart, the 5 on the floor for UConn as Rhonda Rampolla. What was her #1 game key? We want to see the front of their jerseys, not the back of their jerseys.
Yep.
She's another coach who we've talked to before the game who has been really impressed about the team speed of UConn, and that's something that Gino Auriemma has talked about right from these first practices of the year as Stewart can't hit, and a foul is called on Gabby Williams. About how this is going to be a different looking team because, well, you look at a great athlete right there. Quicker team, faster team, different kind of team than you may be used to over the last couple of years for UConn.
Well, think about it. You lost Olsen, who wasn't going to set any speed records, right? I mean, a different kind of game. She could run.
May be watching today, so just want to point out she would run the floor.
I love Steph Dolson, but she wasn't going to make you a faster team.
Nurse gets the steal and is fouled hard by Perry. He'll go to the line for a couple here.
And Bria Hartley didn't necessarily have jets either. Nice steal in the aggressive take, and Perry making sure the shot didn't go up. Maybe a little frustration there as well.
Kia Nurse at the free throw line, 63%. As Armani Degar comes in for SMU, freshman from Arlington, Texas. (39-9), less than 5 to play, first half. Conference opener. UConn has been impressive right from the opening tip. Nurse has been all over the floor, knocked it out of play.
And we talked about Gabby Williams moving to the forward position for Gino Auriemma. Well, how about her guarding Perry out front on the ball, on the top of the key, showing again her incredible athleticism. Now she's switched back to a post player.
Jefferson tried to get to it, could not. Bolton, tough shot. Gabby Williams rips down the rebound. Needs some help here and is fouled by Hives McCray.
Gabby Williams is impressive. I mean, switching on guards there, contesting the shot, getting the rebound. Yeah, got knocked away, but she found a way to get it back and got herself fouled.
Go to the free throw line. 10 team fouls now on SMU. You talked about it right at the top of our telecast as she moved from guard, and we've seen this through the years with UConn. You're the best player on your team by far, and then you got to come in and kind of leave your ego at the door when you get to Stores. But in Gabby's case, what is that transition like, going from someone who had the ball in her hands all the time at her high school team to now playing a forward position? What are the biggest challenges there from a technical standpoint?
Oh my gosh, as by the way, Bolton just got away with a carry there. I mean, there's so many to go from playing a guard to a forward, and on the physical nature of the college game. I mean, it's almost inconceivable to do it, but to do it with the ease in which she appears to have done it shows you the type of incredible athlete that she is.
Just watching here, Collins, who's a freshman as well, but is trying to get physical with her. Is that something that you can expect to watch here as UConn, especially in some of those tough non-conference games? Duke comes to mind on Monday. Will they try to body her as Mosqueda Lewis knocks down the three?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Because I think she'll shove back. Just looking at her in her first 9-10 games now of her career, doesn't look like she wants to back down from the challenge.
No, I don't think so, but she's still a freshman. So if you're an opponent, you're going to have to use that to your advantage if you can.
Collins tracked down the rebound. Gets it on the inside. Ripped away by Brianna Stewart. Raven Short didn't want to get caught up too much more than that. Mosqueda Lewis. Gabby Williams gets up for the offensive rebound and puts it in for two.
And she got that rebound over a 6'5" player.
There's Brianna Stewart again getting a hand on a pass for UConn. Inside of 3 to play in the first half. And there's the carry you were looking for earlier for SMU. It's called this time. She'll get us to a timeout with 2:45 to go in the first half. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis moving up the UConn three-point chart. Knocks down another three. And then how about the effort, the determination, and the finish from the freshman, Gabby Williams. It brings me a lot of pleasure to be able to say that coming up at halftime, it's Gary and Kara.
All right.
We've missed them so. Gary Apple, Kara Walters will have the first half highlights and analysis, and you'll hear Kia Nurse's thoughts on playing for Gino on the UConn Women's Halftime Show. It's coming up, and it's only on SNY.
We've missed those guys.
This is how they prepare right here. This is, he's doing the Gary Apple. He has his own dance. 14-2 run for UConn as they come out of the timeout. With Stokes on the floor, Stewart, Jefferson, Mosqueda Lewis, and Chong. Whistle and a foul called on Brianna Stewart.
And the hard part was that foul was because she used her left hand to push off. And she's getting crushed in there, and it's going to happen all the time. But you got to use the back of your left arm and not your hand to swat away the defender's arms.
Feed inside to Collins. Keely Froling. The runner won't go. Collins kept it alive and found Keely Froling. Well done by SMU on the offensive glass.
Now wait until Collins gets really her legs under her. She only arrived a day or two before their first game.
This is her third game of the season. Feed inside. Stokes couldn't finish it. Mariah Jefferson came up aggressively on Reese and knocked it out of play. I think Mariah's going to have a pretty good court burn to show for that effort. .90 seconds to play in the first half. Short tried to feed it inside to Collins. Jefferson. Been a big first half offensively from Mariah Jefferson. 15 points to lead UConn at scoring. Short banks in the three.
Banks are open.
Sinai Chong finds Stewart. Well off the mark, and it's a rebound for Froling. Keely Froling. Short. 9 to shoot for SMU. Looking for Collins on the inside, and it's a foul called on Brianna Stewart, who disagrees. Let's take a look at the drive of the game presented by Ford.
Well, there the steal, and then getting the ball out to Mariah Jefferson, who this speedster way out in front.
Froling tried to get it back to Collins, could not. Shot clock is off. UConn on the run. Jefferson feeds it to Chong. Now Mosqueda Lewis. Her third three-pointer of the game. That ties her for second on UConn's all-time list with Maya Moore, 311 in her career.
And you got, while she gets three, look how hard. You can only see her feet. Breanna Stewart working so hard in the lane to post up.
To back out, Jefferson taking a look at the clock, has a chance, good if it goes. Well, just about everything else went for Moriah Jefferson in the first half. 5 of 7 from the field in the first half for Moriah. And with that three-pointer, Diana Taurasi, you are on notice right now. Maya and Kalina are tied with 311. And you can just see how prolific Mosqueda Lewis getting it done in 113 games. Here's Gino standing by with Karen.
Gino, your team leads the Mustangs in every statistical category. What would you ask your team to do in the second half to make the next 20 worthwhile?
Well, I thought the guys that came in off the bench were terrible, you know, and you know, it started, you know, you can't ask for anything more than the way we started the game. You know, we started the game about as well as you can start any game. And then we go 4 or 5 minutes where, you know, we look like we'd never practiced before, you know. And those guys that come off the bench, they got to understand that they got to be really good. They can't just be content to come in when we're up 30, you know, and just go through the motions. So the second half, you know, those guys, if they want to get better, they're going to have to get better. But as far as the starting five and the way they played, I don't know that I could ask for anything more than that.
Thank you, Gino. Gino for more from his bench despite a huge lead on the scoreboard. 49-16 from Hartford. Great shooting to start, little lull in the middle, and then Kalina comes through with a huge three-pointer. We've got more from Hartford in just a moment with the halftime report.
All Connecticut in that first half. Gary Apple sitting alongside Carol Walters. We welcome you back inside our New York studios, the UConn Women's Halftime Show, and it was complete domination again right from the very beginning. Dunkin' Donuts going to bring us bold start and smooth finish as we get a look at Moriah Jefferson's first half stats. She's got 15 points to lead everybody in the game, and it was great to see her to get off to such a tremendous start in this game because she has not been at her best at times early in this season.
No, she hasn't, and I kind of felt like she was going to have a good game because they played Duke on Monday, and she struggled a little bit, and she came out strong early and often, and UConn needed this. They had some slow starts against DePaul and UCLA. They came out right out of the gate playing extremely well because of that girl right there, Moriah Jefferson.
And she can change the game in so many very different ways. We saw her strung to the bucket, and then the ability to step back and knock down some threes.
If she can do that consistently all season long, and she has that speed to get up and down the floor in the fast break situation, it's going to make them difficult to guard when she can show your outside range, because I think people kind of sagged off her last year thinking, Moriah Jefferson, not a consistent shooter. But if she can knock down those consistently, it's going to be a great year for her.
Well, UConn 13 assists on their 17 made baskets in that first half. That was critical, and they owned the paint. 22-4 was the differential in the paint, and that certainly pretty much tells the story of the first half.
Well, and 26 points off a turnover. So you have somebody like Moriah Jefferson with those quick hands getting some turnovers there. Kia Nurse, people getting involved with quick hands, and they're converting off of those.
All right, just getting going here on our halftime broadcast. When we come back here from our New York City studios, what's it like getting accustomed to playing for Geno Auriemma? One of the Huskies freshmen going to weigh in on that. It's all ahead when we come back in just a moment. Gary Apple back alongside Carol Walters as we get a look at the first half stats presented by Town Fair Tire. All Connecticut in that opening half, just 6 turnovers compared to 22 for SMU. Kia Nurse talked about playing for Geno Auriemma. She had 5 assists in that first half. What does the freshman feel like playing for Geno? Let's listen in.
I mean, it's crazy to me. I'm still kind of taking it all in, but I'm really thankful for the opportunity that they've given me, and I think he's an amazing coach. He's a lot funnier than people know, but just to see the players that he's produced and to talk to the players that he has now, I mean, it just makes me feel like my future is bright.
And we heard Gino on the way off the court speaking with Kerith Burke. Not thrilled with his bench.
No, not thrilled with his bench. And Breanna Stewart only had 3 points in the first half. So when she wakes up and the bench joins the game, I think Gino's going to be pleased, and SMU is not.
And we saw that late three by Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, again, tying for second place now with Maya Moore all-time at Connecticut, trailing only Diana Taurasi.
Only Diana Taurasi.
Pretty good
That's
play.
Correct.
All right. Enjoy the second half here on SNY. We'll see you back on the post-game show.
UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Cadillac. Now during the Cadillac Season's Best event, lease a Cadillac ATS for $329 a month. Visit your Connecticut Cadillac dealer for exceptional offers. By Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Gallery, so much more than a lighting store. And by Subaru of New England. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. UConn men's hockey team playing a tough schedule in their first season as a member of Hockey East. They have a non-league game tonight against the defending national champs from Union. You can check out all the excitement here at the XL Center this year by going to UConnTickets.com. Right now, we go to Kerith Burke.
Eric, thank you. Rhonda, what did you ask your team to do in the second half to make sure this one stays competitive?
Well, I asked them to forget about the first half and come out here and battle. You know, I said we're gonna see what we're made of out here, and we got to show a lot more competitiveness. And we just got down. We made a lot of mistakes. We got down, and we got to be more competitive.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Kerith, thanks very much. As we take a look at the first half stats presented by Bob's Discount Furniture, the turnover number 22 for SMU. An opponent high in turnovers against UConn this year, 24 in a game. College of Charleston and Vanderbilt back-to-back games in Florida. That shows you what Rhonda was talking about. It got away from the team pretty quickly there in the first half. Great start, as you pointed out before, Meg. In that first 6, 7, 8 minutes of that first half, UConn came out, showed no holiday hangover, got right out and on top of this SMU team and really established things early.
They did, and they played with such an energy. The starting five, they just came in on all cylinders. The nice-looking side from Mosqueda-Lewis to Tuck. Tuck was on fire early on, and the thing that was most important with this starting five is that mentally they were all on the same page, being aggressive, taking it to the basket, getting everyone involved. You had different people scoring than what you're used to seeing, and that's really the key to this team. Now, Gino obviously not happy with the way the players played coming off the bench, and again, we alluded to it in the first half. That's why that guy's in the Hall of Fame, because he doesn't stand for mediocre. It's your best effort all the time.
Stokes, Chung, and Williams off the bench, 2 of 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from the free throw line. All 4 free throws attempted by Gabby Williams, and 3 rebounds combined from those 3 in the first half. Kia Stokes did not have a rebound in the first half. Stewart comes out and misses the first shot to start the second half. Kiera Perry, defended by Mosqueda-Lewis. Tuck on the switch. Eight on the shot clock. Bolton hounded by Nurse. Jefferson got a hand on it. Rebound to Stewart.
The first 5 minutes so important to both teams right now. Well, it may not affect the outcome of the game for SMU. Like Rampola said, be competitive. They can control how competitive they are.
The feed inside to Tuck, and the foul called on Hives McRae.
Well, Tuck is a really difficult matchup in that low post. Hives McRae is going to work probably as hard as she will all year.
Third personal foul. Easy look for Kia Nurse on the baseline out of bounds play, and Nurse knocks it down for 3. Foul called on UConn. Let's take you back to that last hoop.
See how efficient they are. Look at that. That was just a breakdown by SMU.
Love to say that there was something drawn up that was executed with precision.
No, we'd like to say that, but that would be untrue.
That was, the defense was not ready. Jefferson knocks it out of bounds. Last foul was on Breanna Stewart, her third personal foul.
And she looked incredulously at the official, like most players do, saying, I did what?
"15 points in the first half, Moriah Jefferson. Mosqueda Lewis, 13. Tuck, 10. Knocked away by Stewart. Ives McGray inside for her first 2 of the game.
I like the help defense, though, by Mosqueda Lewis. Was just straight up, didn't commit the foul.
Stewart. Shot's a little off today. Now 1 for 6 from the field. It'll be UConn ball.
Yeah, Tuck hustled after the offensive rebound. Here you see Stewart off, but Tuck got the offensive rebound. Really good hands inside by Perry.
Only 3 points for Breanna Stewart in the first half. Jefferson offensive foul.
That's another example of Moriah Jefferson not knowing when and when not to. Yeah, she was open to go, but you got to pull up. I mean, she just collided with that kid. Do the pull-up jumper. They do a drill like that every day in practice where they pull up and kiss it off the glass. Nice weak side help.
First foul on Moriah Jefferson. Stewart, the only Husky with more than 1 personal foul with the 3. Froling dropped it off, nicely done, but it just wouldn't go down for SMU.
Oh, Jefferson, I thought, got away with a little walk there.
Morgan Tuck. Jefferson. It's been her day. 18 points now for Moriah Jefferson. Her career high is 19 coming this year against Green Bay.
And give credit to Tuck for the penetration and the nice kick.
And Mosqueda Lewis knocked it away, and then she was fouled by Bolton. So some good defense there from KML. Here's the pass by Tuck.
Now, one of those great intangibles. Yeah, Tuck will get the assist, but she created so much of that open space for Jefferson by pulling the defense into the lane on the dribble penetration.
Stewart still looking for it. Jefferson.
She's got it.
21 points for Moriah, a new career high for the junior from Glen Heights, Texas, taking on the team from Dallas. 3 minutes into the second half, and the Huskies are on top by 40. And another turnover for SMU. That's 24 for the Mustangs. Hasn't been an issue at all for the starters to get what they want today. It'll be interesting to see what happens once Auriemma goes to the bench. Blocking foul called, and Breanna Stewart will go to the free throw line. When Williams and Stokes and Chong come into the game.
I trust they'll give a little better effort than they did in that first half. I would imagine part of that halftime was dedicated to what he felt and thought about their efforts first off the bench. So I would expect them to come out and play much differently here in the second 20.
And we know why it's so important to have that kind of spark off the bench. We've seen it from Kia Stokes, and we've seen it more and more from Gabby Williams and Sanaya Chong knocking down shots. Look at what's coming up on the schedule. You've got Duke, you've got St. John's, you've got South Carolina down the road. You're going to need all hands. Those in the starting 5 and those coming off the bench.
And Gino is so relentless with the way he approaches this game. He expects you to play the same no matter who you're playing.
Well, Short came up short with the acting, trying to sell it. Fifth-year senior didn't get a call, and Morgan Tuck got the hoop. 12 points now for Morgan.
I give her credit for trying.
Kiera Perry knocked out of play. It'll be SMU ball with 13 to shoot. Mariah Jefferson got a hand in there, but it's controlled by SMU. 4 minutes into the second half. Stewart, Gamble, Perry makes her pay. First points for Kiera Perry, averaging better than 8 a game. And it's kicked by SMU. UConn basketball when we come back to the XL Center. The lead is 41 for UConn, thanks to a career-high 21 from Mariah Jefferson. UConn cruising in the American opener. Little inside SNY here. We have had a camera focused on these three and a monitor patched right in front of Meg because these are Meg's beautiful children and she has been watching them from afar, but we've had this camera zoomed in on them.
It's nice to see they shared.
They've learned well from their parents. Yeah. Good brother Angelo taking care of things, right?
Absolutely.
I think the guys in the truck had a bet whether you'd have to throw down the headsets and run across the court to break something up, but they've been on their best behavior today.
Thankfully. It's not over yet, though.
Anna Stewart, it's not her day. After leading the team in scoring in back-to-back games, she's now 1 of 8 from the field.
I'd like to see her to get in the lane and try to do something 8-10 feet as opposed to 16.
She does have 9 rebounds and 2 blocks and 2 steals. Short off the window for 2. 7 points now for Raven Short. It's now SMU 22, Mariah Jefferson 21.
See, I think the Huskies, one thing they could do a better job of is when Brianna Stewart is posted up in the lane, actually pay attention to her and try to get her the ball.
Gabrielle Wilkins there defensively for SMU as the Mustangs find Alicia Froling, who is fouled. And Morgan Tuck will get whistled for it. So the foul on Tuck is her first personal foul, 3rd team foul on the Huskies. And Alicia Froling will go to the free throw line. Pretty skilled player coming out of Australia, according to her head coach, Rhonda Rapola. Leading scorer, leading the team in block shots, 2nd on the team in rebounds. As Kia Nurse comes out of the game and Gabby Williams, first one off the bench here in the second half for UConn.
Now Furling's only got 5, maybe to have 6. We'll stick with 5 for now, but she's had at least 10 points in the last 7 games, 2 double-doubles. She's who they look to offensively. Without her getting going, it's a stretch for them offensively.
Williams looked like she got kind of caught in between there. Free throw line, turned around, lost the handle. Another turnover.
Some tough spacing. Not great spacing by UConn.
Short drops it off, and knocking it down is Alicia Froling. Misketta Lewis for Stewart. Stewart now with 10 rebounds. Season high for her in that category. Morgan Tuck, open look. Inside of 14 minutes to play here in the second half. Busy stretch here for UConn. They're here today at XL against SMU. Turn around Monday night for a 9 o'clock game against Duke. And then on the road for a New Year's Eve afternoon game at East Carolina in Greenville, North Carolina. 5 to shoot. Froling ducks in. Got a good look with the shot clock winding down. Just wouldn't go down. And another rebound for Stewart.
Nice strong rebound too by Stewart.
Stewart lost her headband. Gabby Williams with the finish.
And Denise Brooks, the official, tried to give it back to her. And Brianna said, "No, that's all right. I'll get it at a dead ball."
Well, my sources tell me she's pretty obsessive about the headband thing. So let's see how she's able to play without.
If you had to play with a ponytail, you might be too.
Well, it's been a long time since I was able to grow out the ponytail. Short, Keely Froling for 3. Of the Froling twins, looks like Keely may be the one who could develop an outside shot. Not that Alicia doesn't have an outside game, but Keely Froling could be one who could knock down some threes. Battle for the loose ball, tie up, possession arrow, pointing SMU's way. Gives us time to take a look at today's UConn trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz, who are the only 2 UConn players with 100 or more three-point field goals in a single season. We'll have the answer coming up in just a couple of minutes. Earlier today, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis tied Maya Moore for career threes made with 311.
Nice defense by Mariah Jefferson. Great job staying in front of the ball, moving her feet. I mean, this is not easy to do. Pressuring the ball, but then when the player pivots, nope, keeping her in front, no foul. That's textbook defense.
Short, defended by Tuck, who takes it off the glass. Finds Jefferson, and Jefferson, what she does so well, finishes. And she'll have a chance for a three-point play.
You know, we talk all the time at how fast Mariah Jefferson is with the ball. I'm telling you, she held that ball like she was running through an offensive line.
That was like 2 arms on her, like you didn't want to fumble it. That's a Texas thing.
It is. There it is.
Got to change hands when you're running for the end zone.
But to be able to do that in traffic just shows you how talented this young lady is.
She keeps adding to her career high, now at 24 points. Season high for a UConn player was Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis's 30 in the opener against UC Davis when she made 10 threes. Jefferson picks up the foul. Morgan Tuck out of the game as Kia Stokes is in. So it's Jefferson, Williams, Stokes, Stewart, and Mosqueda-Lewis, the 5 on the floor right now for second-ranked UConn. Feed inside. Stokes couldn't get there in time for the block shot. Good finish by Hives McGray. Redshirt junior only played 10 games last year before an illness sidelined her for the rest of the year, so did not play against UConn in the 2 conference meetings last year.
But thankfully, she was 1 game shy of being able to not get the season back. She indeed applied to the NCAA, and she got the medical hardship.
Short's 3 is rebounded by Stewart. Jefferson again, followed up by Williams.
I like that recognition, though, in the take by Jefferson. They weren't stopping the ball, but Gabby Williams in the prime spot for the weak side rebound.
Short throws it away. Thought Hives McGray maybe was moving to her right. Gabby Williams, even though she was a guard, knows better than to take it to the basket. And now UConn will reset. .25 turnovers now for SMU.
See, the timing is still a little bit off. And I see Breanna Stewart, right? Yeah. She just shook her head like, finally.
She said finally. She brought it inside the arc. Headband is a forgotten thing. I mean, it left on the baseline there, so maybe that's the solution. We're looking for anything right now to help.
Well, it was a double screen for her.
That helps.
Yeah, good decision to at least put her in a situation where she can be successful.
Shot is blocked by Stokes. There'll be SMU ball when we come back. 10-17 to go here in the second half. The Huskies on top by 4. Back at the XL Center in Hartford, UConn 70, SMU 30 in the conference opener for the Huskies. Time for another edition of Como's Court Vision. Meg, it is all yours.
Well, everything's about timing. Watch coming underneath. Breanna Stewart gets a double screen, but look, up top, Gabby Williams passes the ball for some reason over to Mariah. From up top, she's got to get the ball. See, and then the dribble. That takes too long. Now, you know, it worked, and Stewart got the ball and got a much-needed bucket. But they've got to tighten some things up. Against a good team, Stewart's not going to be open for that long.
SMU basketball 10 to shoot. Under their own basket. Ives McGray. Sanaya Chong there defensively, knocked away by Stokes. 2 to shoot. Gabby Williams gets up for the rebound.
She just goes up with such a purpose and authority, like she's going to come down with the basketball. That's a rebounding mentality, and you're born with it, folks.
Kia Nurse dropped it back off to Stokes, now to Breanna Stewart. And Williams doesn't get the roll, but she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Coming up tomorrow, the UConn men's basketball team back on SNY. UConn will take on Central Connecticut. It's presented by Sam Adams. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 only on SNY. Much better at the free throw line that time for Gabby Williams. Now 1 for 5 from the stripe. Stephanie Collins comes on for SMU as Raven Short will go to the bench. Eight points now for Gabby Williams, averaging 8.5 a game. Williams there defensively, and she's going to get called for the foul. Five team fouls now on UConn. A couple of free throws coming up for Michaela Reese. Reese has played in each game off the bench for this SMU team that won 18 games last year. Looking like a transition year for SMU. Time for our trivia question answer presented by Mercedes-Benz. You nailed this. You wrote this down right away. The question was, you saw the 100-plus three-pointers. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis had 118. Wendy Davis, 107. You got both those answers right.
I played with Wendy Davis for 4 years, and they met last year. And someone said, Kalina, here, this is Wendy Davis, the girl whose record you broke.
Last touch by SMU. It's UConn basketball. It was definitely tipped by SMU's Gabrielle Wilkins, and the officials talked it over, and they don't agree with me, although I am right. But in their defense, I had a perfect view of it. They're not sitting here off the court. Nine minutes to play here at the XL Center. Great start for UConn. They made 11 of their first 13 shots. They were making plays like this on the defensive end, right out of the blocks, block shots, steals, diving for loose balls.
How about Kia Stokes coming in 2 blocks in a row in the same possession in an 8-second span? She's just gotten so tremendous at blocking shots and not committing fouls.
Knocked out of bounds by Kia Nurse. Substitution for UConn as Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis will come into the game, and Breanna Stewart will check out. Headband back in place, by the way. Smiling, which is good to see. Cold shooting day, but did a lot of the other little things well. Blocking shots, getting rebounds, double figures in rebounds. Collins really barreling in on Stokes, who comes away with the rebound. Gabby Williams. Picked up by Kia Nurse, who will set things up for UConn with 8.5 to go.
Oh, nice pass.
Pick and roll. Gabby Williams. No basket. Offensive foul.
Let's take a look. I was going to say, here's a glimpse into the future. The nice pick and roll by the freshman.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I love Denise Brooks, that official. I don't agree with that call. I don't think she was there.
I do believe I heard a little bit of booing here in the XL Center. The only time we've heard it today, which is pretty good sign. A couple calls not going UConn's way, and SMU will hold on to the basketball here.
Well, and as Rhonda Rompola said, she wants her team to compete. SMU's still competing. That's what a well-coached team will do. They just right now don't have the talent to match with UConn. But traditionally, she, has had tremendous success.
Nurse to Chong for 2. 5 points now for Sanaya Chong. UConn doing another good job of sharing the basketball. They came into the game averaging 20 assists a game. That's 3rd in Division I. The best shooting team in the country at 53%. And a steal by Gabby Williams. Kia Nurse, little hesitation. She'll go to the free throw line. A couple of free throws coming up for the freshman from Hamilton, Ontario, when we come back to downtown Hartford with UConn in control. Welcome back to the XL Center. It is the most wonderful time of the year because our friends at Dunkin' Donuts have come here courtside at the XL Center and dropped off some holiday treats. I mean, where do you want to start, Meg? We've got donuts.
I think I'll start here.
Okay, this is the croissant donut. Now here's the, it's all in the presentation. Mark said, you're getting a little close, Mark, all right? We're gonna save one for you. If you could smell, like, you open that up and there's just like delicious. This smelling system. There's my, camera guys. Oh, that's for you, Mark. Merry Christmas. I didn't get, oh no, it's gonna fall on the court. But they've got gift cards. We've got the dark roast, which is...
My favorite.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So our friends at Dunkin' Donuts, we thank them. We thank all they've done. Dunkin' Donuts franchisees recently donated $50,000 to the Pat and Jim Calhoun Cardiology Center, which is very important. You're trying. Can I do a little play-by-play of what you're doing right there? Right now, Meg is enjoying 24 layers of buttery dough.
Oh my God!
Covered in the same sweet glaze used in the glazed donuts.
Outrageous.
All right, you're not going to. Something.
After all I ate the last couple days.
This is the good stuff. Where are your kids? I want to give them these croissant donuts and see what happens because they're going to be the happiest
kids. Very
in
happy.
Hartford. We thank the folks at Dunkin' Donuts for dropping that off. Always good to have a little
very much.
Coffee and croissant donut break here. I've got the gift cards for later. Here's SMU taking it to the hoop with Hives McGray for 2. Just joining us, this game was really settled in the first 5 minutes. UConn jumped out 11 of 13 from the field to start. Really brought great energy on both ends of the court. Jumped out to a huge lead. They have not looked back. Sanaya Chong can't make the 3.
Nice box out that time by Hives McCray.
Alicia Froling. And the three-pointer is good. Kiera Perry, sophomore, now with 5 points.
Well, this has to make Rhonda Rampolla very happy that her team does continue to compete. And this is a team that's won at least 20 wins 4 of the last 7 seasons. They've gone to 13 postseasons in her 24 years. They're used to success.
Sketta Lewis working hard, following up, count it in the foul. Good hard work by the senior. First points of the second half. She'll have a chance to add to it at the free throw line.
You love to see Mosqueda Lewis score in other ways than just shooting the 3. She's got nice post moves. She's worked on that part of her game tremendously over the past several years, and it's shown.
And perfect from the free throw line this season. 10 for 10. Another three-pointer from SMU. Well, this is something that, as we go around the conference, you're going to see teams, as you mentioned before, the phrase we like to use, the circus comes to town, especially in the road games. You're going to get the biggest crowd. You're going to really pump up the excitement with UConn, the 2-time defending national champions, coming in. But you know what you're in for.
Yep.
You're in for a game like today if you're SMU. However, what are you going to take from it? And their next game is at Temple on Tuesday, then Houston at home before getting UConn at home because they get UConn twice in a short period of time. But you're going to take a pretty good look here. What are you going to do with it against these teams that you're more evenly matched with as conference play progresses? 18 now for KML. Reese. Well, SMU starting to make some shots here, getting some open looks and making the most of it. First points for the freshman. Less than 5.5 to play. Tierney Lawler set to check in. Kia Nurse drains a three-pointer. 9 points now for Nurse to go along with 7 assists and just 1 turnover and 4 steals. Mosqueda Lewis back the other way. Leans in, and she'll go to the free throw line. Back over to Kerith Burke.
Eric, I want to tell you guys a little more about SMU's Alicia and Keely Froling, twin sisters and freshmen from Australia. Alicia leading the team in scoring this season. How did these twins end up in Dallas? Well, Coach Rana Rampolla got some help from a former player, Claudia Broussard. She lives in Australia. She was the club coach of the Twins and told Rampolla, you have to check these players out. And then shortly after, the team the Twins were playing for happened to enter a tournament in Dallas. Rampolla says the Frolings are pleasant, they have a positive attitude, and they really have a maturity that comes from playing international basketball. Got a sense of humor, too. They've really acclimated well to Texas. The players like to joke about their accents, so teammates will try to imitate the Frolings, and then the sisters fire right back with their best Southern drawl. Eric?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a battle of what did you say? And I don't understand what you're saying between Texas and Australia. Thank you very much, Karen.
It's that selective attention. We've seen it over the years. Remember Svetlana Abrasimova? I'm sorry, Coach, I don't understand.
Mosqueda Lewis to the bench. She's done for the day. 19 points for her. Career high for Mariah Jefferson with 24 points as you take a look at Mosqueda Lewis. 6 of 12 from the field, made 3 3-pointers, tying her with Maya Moore for second on the career threes made list. Kia Stokes with another block shot, and it'll be UConn basketball.
Again, really great footwork by Stokes. Timing.
5 blocks now for Stokes. Tierney Lawler into the game for UConn. Chong wide open. Well, she dropped her shoulders after that one. Short arm to 3, hit the bottom of the net. And for a scorer like Sanaya, little confidence shaker there.
And I think she's been struggling a bit with her confidence this season. You can tell. She just short-armed that one. You could tell it was flat when it came off her hand.
Approaching 4 minutes to go here at the XL Center. Alicia Froling. Stokes was there defensively. It ended up in the hands of Gabby Williams. Sanaya Chong. Williams to Nurse. Kia Nurse has been dishing out the assists on the receiving end that time from the freshman Gabby Williams. Rebound for Gabby Williams. That's her 6th. She also has 3 assists, by the way. And timeout being called here by UConn to get Brianna Polito into the game. We'll take the timeout as well with 3:22 to go here in the second half. UConn sharing the ball beautifully all game long. Up big here at home. On Wednesday, New Year's Eve, UConn women's basketball back on SNY. The Huskies will be in North Carolina. We'll be there as well. New Year's Eve matchup with East Carolina. Our coverage begins Wednesday at 2 only on SNY. Lots of smiles on the UConn bench today. Well, Brianna.
She's
KML.
singing.
Yeah, singing and dancing. Okay, we'll take that. So the starters who really played well, the shooting wasn't great for Brianna Stewart, 2 of 9, but she ended up with 12 rebounds, 6 points, 2 blocks, and 2 steals.
Well, it's a sign of a great player. You know, your shot may not be dropping, but you find other ways to be impactful.
Froling kicked the basketball. That will get us to a timeout with 3:11 to go here in the second half. UConn on their way to their 9th win of the season.
Gary Apple alongside Carol Walters. The People's United Bank postgame show is on the way. And even without Brianna Stewart, Connecticut can be successful.
And we'll talk about who picked up the slack coming up next.
All right, it's all ahead as we send it right back now to the well-fed Eric and Mick.
Yeah, well, we know Dunkin' Donuts is an important part of my diet, so thank you,
Yeah,
Gary.
exactly. That's how I keep my manly figure.
Here's Lawler. Off the window will go down for Sanaya Chong with the rebound. for Gabby Williams. And a blocking foul called. And Gabby Williams will head back to the free throw line. One thing that really stood out from last year's team as Gabby Williams works here.
And that take to the basket has fouled out Hives McCray.
So she's done as Williams gets set to go to the free throw line. You talked about it before with Bria Hartley and Stephanie Dolson. We keep mentioning those senior All-Americans and trying to find the identity for this year's UConn team. You know, one thing that stands out from that team was how they shared the basketball. Their assist number was high. Dolson, outstanding passer from the post as Gabby gets it. But this year's team is starting to pile up those assist numbers. 22 assists here today on 30 field goals. They've only turned the ball over 11 times. Williams for the putback.
Well, and that leads to efficiency. Now they're shooting 50%. That's because they're passing the ball and the right people are taking the right shots from the right spots.
You look at Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, 6 assists, 1 turnover today as Brianna Polito is on the score sheet this year.
It's always nice to get a steal and then a fast break layup.
2.5 to play. Batted out by Gabby Williams. Even a smile there. Let's take back to what Brianna was able to do.
Well, good pressure on the ball from Lawler. Polito stepped right in and got to finish. It's always nice to do that in front of your home crowd.
Lawler there defensively. Rochelle Lauer has come in for SMU, her first appearance as UConn will take over. He was effusive, Gino was, walking off, talking to Kareth Burke, talking about how the starters played to begin the game. Wasn't too happy with the bench, but seen more contributions, a little better from the bench here in the second half. Wouldn't you say, Meg?
Oh, absolutely. And we both anticipated that the team would come out, play with a different energy level, and you got to give them credit. It's difficult when you're up 92-42 at this point. When the margin has been like this for most of the game, it's tough to keep the pedal to the metal.
Stokes with the putback. First points for Kia Stokes. And a timeout called as Rhonda Parapola just wants to make a substitution here to get Stephanie Collins in. That will give us a chance to tell you our People's United Bank player of the game today is Mariah Jefferson, a career high 24 points for Jefferson. Her previous career high was 19. She did that against Green Bay down in Florida. Great from the field, sharing the basketball as she always does. Mariah, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 steals. 3-pointer is good.
Well, nice shot by DeGar, but what I loved, Kia Stokes was really mad that she didn't get that block. She came all the way from the post out to the corner and was genuinely upset with herself that she didn't block the shot.
Gabby Williams fouling to Polito. Polito gets a screen. Drops it off to Chong. 4 on the shot clock. Chong, little head fake. And now that will help her confidence a little bit. Doesn't matter what time of game it comes, you make it. All it takes is one to get you back on the track sometimes.
That's right. Pretty good offense that time as well. Dribble penetration in and out. They took what the defense gave them.
Gary and Kara standing by. People's United Bank postgame show right after we're done here at the XL Center. Plenty to talk about. Peek ahead to Duke as well. Batted in the hands of Collins. Has to heave it up with the shot clock winding down. That is good if it goes. It does not. Stokes grabs another rebound. Will do it. An impressive start for UConn. It ends up a win for the Huskies to start conference play. 96-45 over SMU. This is something for us to talk about. Gino Auriemma now #1 all-time when it comes to winning percentage, passing Former Louisiana Tech coach Leon Barmore. I don't think Gino's going to go out and celebrate that necessarily.
He wouldn't know about it if people like us didn't tell him.
Gino, guess what? You're number one. You got to keep winning to keep that number there, but great accomplishment individually for him. He'd be the first to tell you it's all because of the players he's brought in, and players like Moriah Jefferson put on a great show today. Kareth is standing by with Gino right now.
Well, Gino, your team opens up conference play with the win, and Moriah Jefferson was your leading scorer with 24 points. How was the season shaping up for Moriah?
I think up to today, you know, she's really struggled from the perimeter. I mean, you know, she's a good shooter, as she proved today. She just it's kind of been between. Should I drive it? Should I shoot it? When should I? When shouldn't I? And today, she didn't hesitate. You know, and it's been like that the last couple of days in practice. So I'm glad that it carried over to the game.
You asked your bench to have a better second half. Did they meet that expectation?
Yeah, I thought they were a lot better in the second half. I mean, you know, when you get into the game, my feeling is always this: when you get into the game and we're up a lot, how can there be any pressure on you to play well? I mean, you just got to play, you know. And sometimes our guys, you know, they just for whatever reason don't want to assert themselves, you know. And my big thing with them is this isn't just about winning the game, you know. We knew it. 10 minutes left in the first half, we were going to win the game. It's just now you want to play well. So I want them to get into the habit of playing well so that when they get in a game where it's a much more meaningful game, they're going to be used to playing well. So we accomplished a little bit of that in the second half.
When it comes to winning the game, there's an accomplishment for you as well. I know you don't want to make a big deal out of the winning percentage, but that's a measurement of sustained excellence over time. How are you feeling about becoming the winningest coach?
Well, I think you said it's over a long period of time. We've had an awful lot of really good players come through here. This is one of those statistics that, unless somebody brings it up, you have no idea that it's out there. You know, these are things you read about in media guides after you're done coaching and you don't have anything else better to do. So I also know if we lose Monday night, I will have held the title for 2 days, so not that excited about it.
Thank you. I didn't have anything better to do today. Congratulations, Gino. Thank you.